Hey guys, and welcome to the first part of our three-part series about procedural ice cream. So here is what we are going to try and replicate here. So we've got this really mesmerizing ice cream that is being created in front of our eyes, and we are going to try and replicate this effect. All right. So first off, let's create a new blank project. Okay, so let's create a new project. It's going to be a 3D project. And let's call it Procedural Ice Cream. All right, guys. All right, Unity just opened. Perfect. So first thing to do, quick stuff like in the previous video, just set up some basic stuff about the environment. All right, it's not a URP project, so it's faster now. All right, so first off, what is a mesh? To understand that, we are going to create a new cube. All right, let's hit enter. In the scene view, let's hit F to focus it. And let's set it to orthographic because it's better. We are able to rotate around it. All right. Here in the draw mode, let's select wireframe so that we can see the mesh of the cube. All right, perfect. So here you can see that our cube is made of what seems to be like triangles here. All right, so we have a triangle here, another one here, another one here, and so on. To make these triangles, we need 3 points per triangle here. So let me explain quickly here in Affinity Designer or any photo editor of your choice. So what we are going to do is to create a point. So let's call it maybe point 0. Then create another point. Let's name it point 1 maybe. And another one. Let's put it here maybe. All right. And this is going to be our point number index 2, sorry. So in a mesh, these points are called vertices. So this is a vertex, this is a vertex, this is a vertex, and these are vertices. All right. So to make any procedural mesh or any mesh in general, you need vertices because these vertices will allow you to make triangles. So when you link up these 3 points, which are the vertices, you have a triangle. So here to make a cube, you can see that we have a vertex here, another one here, another one here, and another one here. And when linking these points, we can make triangles, which in the end result in faces or 3D models. That's as simple as that. So you can select any, let's hide our cube here. Let's create a sphere now. You can see that the sphere is made of a huge amount of vertices and triangles here. So to get the exact amount, you can select the sphere. Double click here on the sphere mesh. Oh, sorry, here you can see it. I'm sorry. But what you can do is click here, I think. And here you can see the data of the sphere. So it has 515 vertices, 768 triangles, and so on. All right, so you can do that for any mesh actually. So here is the one for the cylinder and for the capsule too. All right. Perfect. So now we are going to try and make our own triangle first to start off with, but by code. All right. So let me just create a quick folder and call it scripts. All right. So let's create a new script and call it procedural mesh maybe. Yep, I think that's a good name. Okay, let's create a new game object that's going to host our procedural mesh. So procedural mesh. All right. Let's create a new empty object under this parent and call it only mesh. Let's just call it mesh. This will hold our mesh renderer and mesh filter. So the mesh filter is the component which is holding the mesh, and the mesh renderer is here to render our mesh. Okay, perfect. So let's quickly create a materials folder. All right. And let's create a new material too. Okay, let's call it, procedural mesh. All right. Let's attach it to our mesh here. And just to test this out, we are going to attach a mesh to this guy. So let's select the cube and we can see that it's working perfectly. All right, let's remove it now. Okay, cool. So now let's open our procedural mesh script and see how we can generate our own mesh from scratch. Okay, let me zoom it out here, zoom in a little bit. Okay, perfect. So first off, we are going to need a reference to our mesh filter. Let's call it filter. Okay, let's go back to Unity because we know that the mesh filter is the component which is holding the mesh. Drag and drop the mesh filter here onto mesh filter. All right, perfect. So in the start method, I'm going to call a method called generate mesh, which I'm going to create right now. Private void and not div again. Generate mesh. All right. So the first thing to do to create a mesh is to call it. As simple as that. So mesh equals new mesh. Perfect. We have a new mesh, a blank one actually. Next, we need to assign this mesh to the filter. So mesh filter.mesh equals mesh. All right, we can already try this out. So normally when we hit play, we should have a mesh here attached. So now it says none. So let's start play. Cool, we now have a mesh. It's a blank one, but we have one, which it has 0 vertices and 0 triangles. That's a pretty cool mesh. Okay. Anyway, so now we need to add the vertices that we were talking about just previously. So the points 0, 1, and 2. So to do so, we are going to create a new list, and you're going to understand later why I'm using a list here. A new list of vector 3s, which I'm going to call vertices. And let's initialize it. So it's a new list of vertices. And I'm going to add, no, before adding the points, I mustn't forget to set the vertices of the mesh. So the mesh.vertices equals those vertices, but converted into an array. So now I'm just saying that the mesh vertices are this one. Assign these vertices, these points, to the vertices of the mesh. Okay, perfect. So now I need to actually create those points here. So I'm going to create the first one, vector 3 p0, so point 0 equals vector 3.0, like that. Vector 3 p1, so let's create the first point now, the point with the index 1, vector 3.right. So this is basically like creating a new vector 3 which has 1 on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, and 0 on the z-axis. Okay, and let's create another one, p2, which is going to be equal to vector 3.up. So same thing, this is the same thing, this is equivalent to writing new vector 3, 0 on the x-axis, 1 on the y-axis, and 0 on the z-axis. Okay, so now we have our 3 points. So let's add them to the vertices array. So we can say vertices.add p0. Again, vertices.add p1 and vertices.add p2. Okay, perfect. I think we can try this out now. So let's go back to Unity. Let's hit play. So now same thing, we have our mesh, double click on it, and we can see that we have 3 vertices now in our mesh. Perfect. We don't have any triangles yet, but we're coming to it. All right. So now that we've assigned the vertices, let's create a new list of integers and call it triangles. Let's initialize it. And why are we using integers here? Let me explain. So here we've created our vertices. But when assigning the triangles, you need to assign the indices of the vertices. So we need to say that, like, we want a triangle to be made of vertex index 0, vertex index 1, and vertex index 2. We don't need to specify the position of these vertices, only their index, actually. Okay? If it's not clear enough, please let me know in the comment section. I'll try to explain in another way, maybe. So now we're going to say triangles.add, and we are going to add the vertex index 0, then the vertex index 1, and the vertex index 2. So we basically just added index 0, index 1, and index 2. All right. So same thing here. I need to assign this list to the mesh data. So mesh.triangles equals triangles.toArray. All right, perfect. Let's try this out now. Let's go back to Unity. Let's hit play. And here we can't see anything, but don't look at the scene now, for now. Don't look at it for now. Okay, so let's double click on the mesh and we can see that indeed we have one triangle. But why can't we see it here? It's because its normals are, I won't say on the wrong direction, are facing the wrong direction, because it depends on what you want. But the normals of these vertices are facing this way, because we specified the indices of the vertices in this order, 0, 1, 2. So when you specified 0, 1, 2, so we specified it in a counterclockwise fashion. So we can specify it now in a clockwise fashion. So this way, okay? In this order, let me add a little up. Okay, perfect. And this will flip the normals of the face. All right, so let's try this out. So instead of adding the first vertex and then the second one, let's add the second one and the first one. And now if we head back to Unity, we can hit play. And now we can actually see our triangle along the z-axis here. Okay, perfect. So now let's try and make a square. So to make a square, we need 2 triangles. All right, so let's add a point. So the last point, so for now I had, let's up, take this out, up. Okay, I just fixed some stuff here. So we were specifying the indices in a clockwise fashion, and now we specified them in a counterclockwise. So anyway, let's make a square now. So to make a square, I'm just gonna take this vertex and place it here. It's better, I think. And add another point right here. And this is gonna be index 3. All right, so let's do that. So now I need to create the vector, a new vector 3, point 3. It's gonna be vector 3 dot up plus vector 3 dot right. All right, we have our 4th point now, and we can add it to the list of vertices. Okay, perfect. So now we need to make another triangle here. So let's say triangles.add. So we're going to be adding the next triangle. So how are we going to do that? So here first, we are adding the triangle 0, 2, and 1. So this is not this one. This is pretty much like so. 0, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to be adding 0, 3, 2. Okay, let me remove the arrow quickly. Up, like so maybe. Oops. Okay, let's add the triangle 0, 3, 2 now to have a full square. So let's add 0, 3, and 2. So if you are asking yourself how I'm copying this fast, it's just Control D. You can do that as many times as you wish, and it just copies the line you're in. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to Unity now. Let's hit play. And we have another triangle, but it seems like it's flipped. Can you see that? So there is an error in our code. All right, so let's fix that. We are here for that, actually. So we have P0 at vector3.0. Okay, P1 on the right. Okay, sorry. And P2 up. Oh, I see. So now I told him that P2 was here. So it's actually like so. Okay, perfect. So now we need to make our triangles again. So we are going to say, we are going to make a triangle from 0 to 1 to 3. Okay. And then another one from 0 to 3 to 2. Okay, perfect. Let's do that instead. So 0 to 1 to 3, 0 to 1 to 3, and 0 to 3 to 2. Yep, perfect. So let's hit play. And same issue. Okay, I did not save. Let's hit play. And we have our square, but facing the other direction. So to fix this issue, we can just invert the indices of the vertices here. And you're going to play with that a lot. Okay, perfect. We've now just created a square. So in the next section, we're going to be creating a full circle, a full procedural circle, or maybe a cylinder if we've got time. And then in the third part, we're going to be creating the ice cream, the final ice cream you saw in the beginning of the video. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, so feel free to ask in the comment section. Maybe like the video if you like it, subscribe for more, and have a good day. Bye-bye.